The face staring back at me wasn't mine. My reflection, once familiar, now twisted into a grotesque mockery. Eyes, once warm brown, burned with an eerie crimson light. My skin, once vibrant, now held the pallor of death. A cold dread gripped me. Panic surged. I stumbled back from the mirror, heart pounding against my ribs. This couldn't be real. It had to be a hallucination, a trick of the light. But deep down, a primal fear whispered a different truth. Tentatively, I reached towards the mirror, my fingers trembling. The surface, usually cool to the touch, now pulsed with an unnatural heat. My reflection mimicked the movement, its lips stretching into a grotesque, predatory grin. This thing, it wanted me. A wave of dizziness washed over me. The room around me swam, the edges blurring as the reflection in the mirror grew larger, more dominant. The mirror, once an ordinary object, now pulsed with a sinister life of its own. The silvered surface rippled, transforming from a reflection into a gaping maw of swirling darkness. It beckoned me, promising power and oblivion in the same breath. Terror warred with a strange allure. My rational mind screamed at me to run, to flee from this impossible horror. But something deep within, something ancient and dark, stirred in response to the mirror's call. I longed to tear my gaze away, to break free from the hypnotic pull of the abyss that yawned before me. But I was frozen, my feet rooted to the spot, my will slowly crumbling. The air grew heavy, thick with the stench of decay and a cloying sweetness that spoke of corruption. I choked on the suffocating atmosphere, each breath a struggle. With a sickening lurch, I was pulled forward. The mirror, no longer a two-dimensional surface, had become a gateway to somewhere else, somewhere ancient and evil. I fell headlong into the swirling vortex, my scream swallowed by the darkness. The sensation of falling was excruciating, like being ripped apart atom by atom. I was lost in a chaotic maelstrom of colours and sounds, a sensory overload that threatened to shatter my sanity. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the chaos ceased. I landed hard on cold, unyielding stone, the impact knocking the air from my lungs. I lay there, gasping for breath, my body racked with tremors. As my vision cleared, I realized with growing horror that I was no longer in my own home. I was somewhere else, a place of shadows and whispers where the very air felt thick with malevolence. The transformation began slowly, insidiously. An unbearable heat built within me, scorching my insides. My skin prickled and burned as if 1,000 insects crawled beneath its surface. My bones ached, grinding against each other, reshaping. I clawed at my skin, desperate for relief from the burning agony. But no matter how hard I scratched, I couldn't escape the feeling of something monstrous, clawing its way out from within. My reflection in a pool of stagnant water confirmed my worst fears. Gone was the woman I once was. In her place stood a creature of nightmare. My eyes blazed with an unholy fire. My teeth had lengthened into sharp fangs, and my skin, it shimmered with the iridescent sheen of a serpent's scales. A strangled cry escaped my lips. This couldn't be happening. This couldn't be me. This was a nightmare, a cruel joke played by a malevolent god. I fought against the transformation with every fibre of my being. I clung to the remnants of my humanity, to the memories of who I once was, but it was a losing battle. The darkness that had claimed me was relentless, consuming me from the inside out. Each heartbeat pulsed with a chilling new awareness. My senses, once mundane, were now heightened to an almost unbearable degree. I could smell the fear of unseen creatures lurking in the shadows. I could hear the whisper of blood as it coursed through my veins, a symphony of power and corruption. The struggle between who I was and what I was becoming raged on. The light of my humanity flickered and waned, threatening to be extinguished entirely by the encroaching darkness. But even as I fought, a terrible truth began to dawn. Maybe this darkness wasn't something to be resisted. Maybe this was my true nature, lying dormant within me, waiting for the right moment to awaken. The final vestiges of my former self slipped away like sand through my fingers. I embraced the darkness, surrendering to the monstrous power that coursed through my veins. It was terrifying and exhilarating all at once. A cold euphoria washed over me as I finally let go, allowing the darkness to claim me fully. The pain that had racked my body subsided, replaced by a sense of intoxicating power. My vision cleared. The world around me, once shrouded in shadow, now pulsed with a vibrant, malevolent energy. I looked down at my hands, no longer human, but ending in cruel obsidian claws. These were the hands of a predator, of a creature born of darkness, and I knew with a chilling certainty that I was home. The abyss that I had once feared now welcomed me. I was a creature of the night, a servant of the shadows, and I had a destiny to fulfill.